if we're looking at Dyrus right here. He might not be able to sustain with Shyvana against the Gragas. It'll be really interesting, actually, to see which champion he defaults back onto.
Well, we just heard him talk about the fact that Gragas beats up on Rekton, like, straight up in the 1v1. Evelyn and Kog'Maw coming through here for Evil Geniuses. A lot of good area effect control to try to make room for Altec to kill a bunch of people.
Seeing a lot of Kog'Maw. Altec had a good Twitch game. This time he's going for the Cog, so a little bit more single target. I'd say Cog, especially the spell-based things about Kog'Maw, are really what's catching teams off guard, having not played against it for so long.
Yeah.
You know, the Bio-Arcane Barrage the teams are thrown in. Altec is a hyper-carry player, but yeah, they need the really good late game just because they aren't that good at closing out games, honestly.
Remember that EG's win against Cloud9, I believe it was the team peeling for him on Twitch. That was one of their best upsets as well. So, team is definitely, they know how to play around Altec for sure. TSM to make their next two choices. There is Hover on Renekton, and the Jinx might come in for Wild as well. So another long range, high damage late game AD carry. And all right, Jinx Braum bottom lane.
Someone to stand behind Braum for sure. I can see that working. Altec, of course, had the pentakill on Jinx this year in the LCS. Well, Turtle gonna try to match him in this game. No easy task, especially because that TSM bottom lane hasn't necessarily been doing well in the 2v2s.
Yeah.
But has been doing much better once they transition to team fights. Jinx Braum should be a pretty solid lane, and of course the Morgana is what you pick in with Braum.
Wow, so the Morgana coming through. Twisted Fate as well for the mid lane, so Pobelter gonna be taking that one as the blind pick. We called him earlier in the year a wild card. And I guess to put that one through on everyone else. And Bjergsen gets counterpicked.
He's embracing.
Darn right.
His inner wild card. Interesting, actually. So Bjergsen's a pretty prolific Syndra player.
Yep.
And we had a lot of discussion yesterday about the Syndra versus Twisted Fate matchup and how, especially with Hai, Xiao was able to destroy him in lane, and then Hai did okay as Syndra against TF, but it still appeared like the matchup was heavily in one favor. I'm very curious to see if Bjergsen decides to go with Syndra here. And here's why. Because Pobelter picked Ryze into Syndra, which to most people is a suicidal matchup, but he did boots first, dodged the majority of the Syndra skill shots, and did great in the lane. And that's most likely what he's going to be doing here. Boots first, Twisted Fate, try and dodge around Bjergsen, and Pobelter is very confident in his ability to lane against Syndra.
He freaking sure well is. The funny thing I want to point out, though, is with the Ryze matchup, he went, like Negatron Cloak first, basically, and that's, I mean, I guess you could still do it on TF. It's not like he really needs items for his utility to be there, but we'll see what the build adaptations end up being for these guys. The picks and bans are all filled up. You're going to see Evil Geniuses full of plenty of magic damage on their roster, which seems to be the kind of the new way to do things.
It's been a really strange week. I definitely feel like, at least after watching a lot of the OGN games, they were earlier on the Gragas train. They were banning Kog'Maw in almost all those games. Twisted Fate's almost a permanent ban. And North America, very quickly this week, is trending back towards those norms.
I wonder how quickly the teams all adapt. We're going to see how these guys do in the game. As the game gets underway, let's count the votes over on LOLesports.com. And with 82% of the vote, TSM leads Evil Geniuses. Not a surprise to people.
Big percentage. When you also consider how well Evil Geniuses has been playing in the early game, but TSM with that 7 on the record. If you want to change your mind, though, hashtag at EGWin or hashtag at TSMWin to the @LOLesports Twitter account, so it will get registered and update that little graph in between some key points in the match. Generally not during the most exciting moments. We'll play it during the down times.
Wait for the fight to end.
Yeah.
Just be like, Kog'Maw's going for the 1v1. Hold on, guys. Twitter vote. Got to make sure we see who you thought was going to win this battle. We'll actually pause the game for that one. Not actually the case here. No. And unfortunately, even though democracy is a great power and you guys can vote who's going to win, it's still up to the players to decide.
Yeah,
so you guys can just kind of hope that you're right, but it's still up to those guys back there. We're going to see if they're going to do this one. Getting ourselves now into the game. Evil Geniuses looking to make their climb through on Super Week. TSM not necessarily having the start they wanted. EG definitely not for themselves either. But there's still a day and a half to go for these guys to pull them back up the standings.
It's got to really feel stressful for EG right now because they're feeling like they can't come so far as a team, yet they're now sitting in last place. So the other teams they're competing against, Curse and Complexity, are picking up wins. whereas EG continues to be unable to find victory.
I was actually talking with their manager about that guitar during their game against Complexity, during the beginning of it. And we were talking about the fact that it felt like EG was the strongest of those three down at the bottom of the standings. And that
it feels like that to the majority of the fans as well.
Absolutely. And they put on such great performances. And then he's like, yeah, like every single week, it's like, man, we play so well, and then out of nowhere, Complexity beats someone, and we're like, stop beating Cloud9, like stop these random things. But of course, then they get the 1v1 matchup. They fight up against Complexity. Complexity takes them in 60-something minutes.
65 minutes and 30 seconds.
Yep. If you round it 70.
Let's see if this one goes a little bit faster. I feel like it will.
Chances are pretty high.
Knock on wood.
Particle board?
Yeah.
Is this wood?
Kind of like a plasticky desk.
Knock on plastic. Is that bad luck?
Probably.
Okay. Great. More League of Legends action. I'm always happy, man. I'll take hour-and-a-half long games.
This game right here, a bit of a deep ward being placed by EG, but shouldn't have too big of an impact in the early game. This time EG is hopefully going to avoid what happened to them. I'm going to harp back to yesterday's game where they had the jungle Gragas. They'd had a lot of early game pressure, but then they really fell back into only having 2 threats. The top lane Gragas pretty much always starts Rod of Ages and will at least guarantee slightly higher damage presence as the game moves on. So EG should not fall into that same trap. Plus there's no split pushing threat really on this TSM team.
EG should be able to group themselves up pretty nicely. Helios going through his red buff start is actually going a little bit low on mana, but Passage should make him okay when he goes to the blue. So normal stuff for these guys. Dyrus versus Inox, there is the early push for the Renekton.
Oh man. What a strange thing. They're banking on Bjergsen's aggression early on in the lane against Pobelter, and the boot should allow him to land the stun.
Gold card hits wild cards as well. Bjergsen forced to flash away. Pobelter not even have to use any summoners, but that's going to be probably both potions gone for Bjergsen.
That's just some really slick scouting by EG. They know exactly what Bjergsen's going to try and do. It's one of the big reasons Pobelter's confident against Syndra. He feels like he can read the players very well. And they burn the flash early on, which should definitely curb Bjergsen's aggression in this lane.
It's one of the cool things I like about the boot start for TF as well, is that you can get into the range for these stuns so easily.
Yeah. A lot of people used to run movement speed quints on Twisted Fate in the mid lane.
Yeah.
Even go with the boots of swiftness back in the day just so they could close into range for the gold cards, because that's really what it's all about. Round 2, though, Amazing gets a stun of his own.
Stun's going to land there for Bjergsen as well. Flash comes in just in time, but Pobelter trading health bars and flashes now with Bjergsen. But Helios is already top. Dyrus is pushed in already as well. Can Inox follow this up? He's waiting for the cannon minion.
It's going to be tough to get around the slice and dice here. Renekton incredibly hard to gank. They're really hoping he would use it aggressively, but that's just not the way Dyrus lanes at the turret.
Well, Q is down. Inox drinks up. He's looking for the aggression.
Given away at this point.
They're going for it anyway, though. There's a slice. And the gank. No dice.
Make sure to take a little bit of Helios with him as he runs away after that really nice W on Renekton. So safe lane play by Dyrus. Dyrus is definitely one of the most difficult to gank top laners.
He's a really good sense for that.
Ever. Yeah, it's just this innate game sense that comes from years and years in the top lane.
And knew to keep his dashes up, and away he went. So well played. Round 2 now for Amazing. Can he get the cocoon? Nice dodge by Pobelter. Dodges the second stun as well. The second summoner's down, but he gets away. Down
nice moves.
Oof. Leave now, taking a bit of damage after that extension, but Black Shield is enough to keep EG safe.
What's more important, though, is how low Turtle is. Note he doesn't have a health potion on Jinx, whereas Altec still does. So if they can get any type of trades going while not losing the minion wave pressure, it will be good for them. Right now, the only ally TSM has is the fact that their minion wave is larger.
And it's helping him for now. Glebe going to give a little bit more sustain with the Relic Shield at some point, probably on the cannon minion. Crepo down to 1 potion himself. So maybe they can work through his health bar instead of Altec's, just maybe. Glebe will give a little bit of HP back to Wild Turtle for now. So holding fairly close to equal. Bjergsen does have blue trinket for himself, by the way. He had that one last time he fought Evelyn as well, but after about 8 minutes, he sold it for red trinket. Yeah, I actually really like the blue trinket start as a mid laner against Eve, because your early ward, a lot of times people try and place it over the Wraith camp to see Eve when she's there. But it's a pretty dangerous move to even get in position for that. If you're just using your Scrying Orb, even if you miss Eve to see when camps are down, you have a general idea of where she would be. And then once you're level 9 and you have the lower cooldown on your Sweeping Lens is generally when I see them switching it back. I think it's going to become a thing, and Bjergsen's the front runner in that. I like it. I really do. Yeah, I think it's a great option there. It's good to see players adapt as the season goes on. A lot of changes came in at the beginning of the year. And slowly but surely they find new things to do. Wild Turtle down to 200 health right there. Altec with a good trade on that one. Gonna miss that melee under the turret, but they're still holding up 36 to 39. Pretty reasonable for the lane matchup, I gotta say. And Altec gonna get a few more under the turret. Inox still holding against Dyrus, pretty close to equal as well. The only matchup really winning here for TSM is that mid lane for Bjergsen, who got to counterpick here.
Yeah, the Syndra versus TF matchup, they went one gank for the other. Ended up actually being 2 ganks that Bjergsen was able to get. Not a landslide of a CS difference, but as you can see, about 4 minions left, so the 10 advantage is actually a 14 advantage. Gotta be a little bit careful here.
They're just trading health for now. Inox is going to have decent sustain still coming in there.
He's going to sustain up a lot faster than Dyrus.
And most likely, 1/3 HP. That looks like with the teleports available, Inox might want to recall just off this one here. Don't know if he can quite afford Catalyst just yet, if that's going to be his item build.
He can.
He can, 1200 at least?
He's got 1340 right now.
All right, well there you go. Shows my top lane knowledge. Helios making his way towards the top side. Blue buff's coming up soon. Helios did walk over and ward TSM's blue, by the way. Now they know that's going to respawn second around 8-ish minutes, maybe a little bit earlier than that. EG might plan around that with the TF ulti.
Yeah, it'll be kind of on Bjergsen to keep track of Twisted Fate. One thing that pained them in their game against Shifter and Dignitas when he was on Twisted Fate is, yes, Bjergsen out-farmed Shifter by a massive margin, but TSM didn't have Dragon Control, they didn't keep track of TF. This time, you could tell Loco was giving him a lot of words, strong words of advice to pay attention to the dragons early on in the game, and they're trying to take it here.
Well, very nicely done. The recall back from Altec to get his phage. Not going to let him help any of this with the dragons, so nicely done TSM. And the pickaxe for Wild Turtle and everyone else having gotten one back already as well means they took that one very cleanly.
Yeah, and that is much more important than we necessarily realize. The early game Dragon Gold is quite high. To take it uncontested at that point, especially as a group with the Spiderlings tanking, you don't even take too much damage. And because they had Bjergsen in the mid lane pushed up and Turtle and Glebe in the bottom lane pushed up, they didn't even really lose much lane pressure. It was the best of almost all scenarios.
Extremely clean by the guys, so gotta say, grats to TSM. Looks like their red buff gets warded by Dyrus, so they're safe. Amazing, gonna grab the blue here for Bjergsen. No one's gonna stop that. So this is ward. All it does is track when that's gonna come back up and track where the Elise is. Otherwise, Inox and Dyrus just battling in the top lane. Slowly working their health bars down, and the buffs are gonna stay safe on both sides.
Yeah, a much slower developing game as far as EG is concerned. Helios hasn't really been going for many big plays against Amazing here. He had that level 2 gank in the mid lane, and that was really the last we saw of Eve. Now that he is level 6, he really has to pick wisely. They do have the Twisted Fate if they want to combo a gank as well. You got to expect it to be bot lane, and TSM should probably see this coming as well, knowing that TSM's been pushed up for almost the entire game down here.
Yeah.
And knowing that they need to get Altec going on Cogbomb.
And Krepo's flash is back available. They had an earlier altercation where he lost it, but he's on full power. Ulti also up, so how safe can Glebe and Turtle play? Nice Puddle looks to see if he can find Amazing waiting there. Doesn't get any gold, knows he's not, at least in that little circle. At least still off the map as far as EG is concerned. Binding's gonna hit Wild Turtle, and there comes Glebe saying, I'm unbreakable. Yeah, off the back up.
It's honestly kind of unfortunate that they're getting pressure back in this lane at this exact moment, because that's when they'd be more vulnerable to a gank to get Altec going. But CS-wise, actually, they're coming back a little bit in this lane anyway. From the early game being pushed in, losing a little bit of Dragon Control. Now, though, with the ultimate from Altec and the threat of Twisted Fate plus Eve, they're really pushing them back.
So Amazing wants to try to get around this then as this dual lane's pushing in. He's got some decent ward coverage to look for where Evelyn might be. And now he walks down the river, but Altec knows about this. The pink ward's actually there for Glebe to keep Evelyn at bay. And Altec Karpa forced to back away, but very far from minion XP range. They pulled the Evelyn in for a possible counter gank, and they're going to contest for these minions.
Does not seem at face value right now like a smart place for Helios to be. Just because of how far pushed back Wild Turtle and Glebe are. And because of the way EG reacted to that pink ward, it was kind of like they knew a jungler was on the way. So Amazing wouldn't opt into that gank, generally speaking.
find anything. So even though ulti's available, neither team has made a move. I have not seen anybody except Elise press R this game. Let's see, typing jungle timers. Dyrus looks at the trade on Inox, can't quite find too much, but Inox is slowly losing health in this matchup. Teleports up in about 20 seconds for the guy. He wants to back up. He can, but I assume he'll wait for Rod of Ages. Pearson's still slowly making headway in the mid lane. He's up about 20-ish minions after this wave gets cleared away. Amazing to show up to pressure the turret down. And look how far back Volter is forced to play. He knows he can get one shot, so Helios shows up to defend, but it's a bunch of gold missed out.
Yeah, even so, as long as the turret doesn't fall down, 122 to 98, Twisted Fate for Syndra is a job well done by Pobelter. He's very, very good at playing against Syndra at this point. But especially with the level 9 and the Athenes, you can tell Bjergsen's in full wave clear mode, and TSM's trying to get this map pressure back. Look at the moves by TSM here, sending everyone here in the mid lane. They want this turret.
Krepo really not in the right spot, and down he goes through. Oh no, and Helios knocked up as well by Throm. Second kill comes through. Not the right position to be in. Now Inox also in the wrong spot, stunned up as well. EG really in the wrong location.
Great roam by TSM is really the biggest thing to point out right there. Oh no, Bjergsen! All right, it's fine. Yep, nothing to see here. But really, Wild Turtle and Glebe had been having issues in that bottom lane. Instead of having to deal with the Kog'Maw on the Morgana, they just ditch out after shoving up their lane and arrive mid lane where there was already an advantage building. They take that advantage, push it over the top, and give TSM a substantial 12-minute lead.
This is massive for these guys. Dragon's up in 115 as well, and you know the items are coming soon. Watch that fight again, though. Krepo.
Yeah, he really was just surprised to see so many people there, and then he was unable to stop himself from the stun. And then at that point, since they'd already lost their main heal in the Morgana, it had all gone wrong. Inox comes in around the back. Not much he could do. Some really nice stuns by TSM, and the turret was nothing to defend.
Well done by these guys, though. 2.7 thousand gold. TSM looking just a little bit more tenacious than they had earlier in the day and earlier in the week overall. Taking the dragon control, taking the turrets down, actually finding the fights to go for here. You see Helios clears the wolves on top of a ward, so they know where the Evelynn is. They know that she's bottom side. Dragon up in 22 seconds, and TSM, they are in just enough time to put some wards down.
Yeah, they have fantastic position right now, actually.
Oh, wow.
This even more so. Oh, whoa!
Cocoon's gonna hit, Amazing can chase him down. And the Baldo's finally gonna take over control of the jungle. Now Krepo's gotta be careful. Has to get out of his own side of the map. Red buff CO plus dragon control now for TSM.
Yeah, they really amped up their map pressure this game. Obviously, a lot of it has to do with Bjergsen's presence in the mid lane as Syndra, but it mainly just looks like TSM bouncing back very well from that defeat to Dignitas, where they didn't really seem to do anything. They're taking a lot of initiative to make these moves, and it's paying off.
Absolutely is. So there we go. TSM takes out the Dragon. Number 2 here, 14 minutes in. Complete control for these guys now. Almost 4.2 thousand gold ahead. You keep the sweep going. So much better game for these guys. And now, looking topside as well. TSM not done.
Yeah, they're just going to keep invading Helios at this point. They know his flash is down. He's about to be dead.
He is about to be dead. And here comes Dyrus just to make sure. This is picked up for him. Why not? 1.5 fantasy points for him and TSM. Taking everything away.
Yeah, that is now Helios dying at red, respawning, running to blue, and dying again. There's not too much a jungler can do to come back from that. Both times, they either haven't had ward control while TSM has entered, or they haven't had the appropriate defenses there. So losing your buffs is one thing. Dying and losing your buffs is a whole other story, and it's just gone from bad to worse here for EG.
The only guy who's really doing well in his matchup right now is Alltech, and even though he's got the farm, of course, he doesn't have the kill pressure that Wild Turtles had on the map, so the gold's still not great, but the Jinx still being forced away TFLT as well. This is the first good move for EG. Traps come out, and Pobelter can't reach more than Glebe here, but that could just be enough. Down to about 800 health, flashing away for that one, and the bottom turret did go down.
Twisted Fate ult absorbed in a sense. First big one used does not result in a kill. It was honestly a win for TSM. They burned a heal and a flash amongst all that. And that just means Bjergsen gets to take a few more snacks from the jungle. Oh, they do not want to let Inox go back here, but he's gone.
He is away for this one, so minions will be denied, and the turret might just die itself. There's Dyrus and Bjergsen going to join up. And the two of them plus the wave should be enough to take this turret down, so more gold for TSM. They're in the right places a lot, and even though we had the TF gank come through, you saw Glebe and Turtle get away from that one. So I really have not seen an unwise move from TSM at large yet this game.
You're right. TSM is playing really crisply. Every once in a while, it seems like. I'd say TSM's win over CLG was really... All right.
Thought she's dead. Except for Wild Turtle.
The caster's curse. TSM's playing great. Oh, that was a binding.
I was thinking perfect game earlier.
Yeah, it was probably a binding. We'll get that back on the screen to see how quickly he was blown up. Yeah. Oh, the white of death. And then he doesn't even get the white. That's the worst part.
I don't think EG could see Wild Turtle. They could just see the white being active.
They could. They had a ward in the brush to the right of it, I believe.
That's TSM's ward. I think they only saw
just saw the white getting hit.
They were like, that's a Wild Turtle shooting that thing. I was smart by Crapo. I like that one. It's a very unflashy LCS big play, but I like it a lot. TSM now. No objectives to steal for a while. They've already cleared them away in the last 4 minutes, so they've got to be patient before they get much more here, but heck, they can go back to lanes and kill people, not a big problem. Trinity Force, though, is done for Altec. He's slowly starting on his way to the Ruined King, so he will keep powering up. Maybe EG can wait out and rely on him. We've seen some scary cogs before.
Yeah.
And
Renekton doesn't do too much to Cog.
No.
Late. If there's... The one thing is, the power of Syndra here, there's not a huge front line to stop Syndra from reaching priority targets. It's really going to be heavily on Pobelter once he can get that Zhonya's to try and keep Bjergsen at bay. That'll be a huge... If the gold even gets close.
Oh, sure.
Point, because TSM has such a big advantage right here.
They're friends. The pink wards are friends. They felt lonely before. Crapo getting cocooned up. The slows, the stuns, damage coming out. Crapo flashes the bind, but it's not going to be enough. Bjergsen finds the kill there. TSM still in control of the bottom jungle.
One of those times as a support, you're like, well, I found him.
Yep. Three guys bottom jungle.
Yeah, it doesn't do much to help EG overall, though. But every lane getting pushed back. Even the top lane, which is the most surprising thing to me.
First pick for EG.
Lost that to Dyrus.
Yeah, you don't first pick a matchup unless you know
TSM is being relentless right now.
Teleport comes into the turret. Altec though in a 1 versus 3. Make that a 3 versus 3 coming up in a second. Can they find much? The knockback on a Glebe, amazing. On the other side of the fight now, Wild Turtle forced to run away. The Cog Pass doing some good damage. Eve in there as well, but here comes Dyrus. Here comes Bjergsen as well. Inox gonna get locked up, and down he goes. 2 kills so far to the team. Crapo not quite getting slowed, but fine and not gonna stop too much. TSM in control of the bottom lane.
And it's really dangerous to dive in between turrets against a Twisted Fate, but TSM does it exquisitely right there. Blowing up Altec before he can really land any damage and making it into a clean 4v5 where they pick up 2 kills and more.
Definitely getting the second turret right here. The damage output from a level 9 or higher Jinx with some attack damage is rather high, and down that one goes. 34,000 gold to 26. Pretty big lead here. TSM looking the best they have all week.
Yeah, absolutely. Good play right here. I mean, it's 130% attack speed for Jinx when she gets going on that minigun. It's a bit much.
Oh, Crapo's rich.
Afro had a similar battle some weeks back.
He taunted the last one.
It takes a little while.
How much do you think supports hate pink wards? Because how many of their own wards they kill? Is that the support's worst enemy, actually?
The pink ward?
Yeah. Gets rid of all their hard work.
It's got to be rewarding to kill some of those with this incredibly slow attack speed on board.
It's like 8 seconds per ward. It's like a whole minion wave, basically. Alright, well, Evil Geniuses look like they have gotten control back of their own jungle. Pobelter gets a blue buff here for himself. One of his first, maybe second. Wild Turtle got a blue buff, why not? And now the Dragon once again controlled for TSM. I believe they're third at this point there. No one even trying to stop them this game. This gold keeps flooding in for TSM.
There's not much EG could do to try and stop that. The only thing EG can do right now is try and get something back wherever TSM commits themselves. Because if TSM is ever in the same space as EG, EG is dying. So it's pretty natural here for TSM to start getting Baron control once they can get their waves going.
Speaking of Baron control, pink ward down for Wild Turtle. That's going to be pink ward number 1. we'd see that we just saw them buy and place 3 pink wards in the southern jungle, prepping for the dragon, maybe a red buff steal. They could rebuy those, put them over on the left-hand side instead, and prep those. Of course, vision control, very much a team effort here in the 2014 season. And as Pobelter tries to push up in the top lane, he's got to know he has so little ward coverage that he's very enticing bait right now.
Say that. I mean, if Amazing blows his stun early, Pobelter is going to try and port out immediately after. Goodbye.
And out he goes. But that is still a TF ulti down.
Yep.
So TSM already to late game trinkets, 3 sweepers, and the scrying orb. I think that's the optimal game plan actually. Double sight stone,
against
quadra
the Eve
sweeper
as well.
Yeah.
Even more so. It's as much warding as they can get. Amazing. One of the few North American junglers to do Sightstone Elise.
It's actually an interesting build for him because he also went Haunting Guys. So it's a mix between utility, Elise, and damage.
I know, with Boots of Mobility.
Yeah.
It's a strange concoction of items right there. It's because Amazing got so far ahead early, I think. A lot of times you end up going Haunting Guys, but then he just wanted to move fast. So he built a mobility boost.
Yeah. I mean, if I was fighting a 3-0-3 Elise, I'd be haunted. Helios trying to make his way up down the mid lane. Crepo joining up, but TSM have a trap set in this brush just above them. Blue trinket pop. They know someone's nearby. There's only so much range in that thing.
Yeah, that's actually a pretty poor use of the Scrying Orb by Wild Turtle, giving it away. The flank, though, from Dyrus. How close can he get?
Looking for the way in, can't find the Son of Pobelter, but Helios, yes they can. Enough CC, but nice flash over the wall. Dyrus still follows, and there's nowhere for him to go. Jinx Rocket finds Altec, not too much there, but jungler dead from Evil Geniuses.
And does that mean they force around Baron? They already have pink ward control, and there is not too much EG can do to look in there. Pobelter's ultimate is back up, so they would have one look at Twisted Fate. And it would kind of be a last-ditch effort. Already being down 7,000 gold would make a fight in this area really, really dangerous. TF all down, the baiting can continue.
Well, 4 pink wards in the Baron area. TF's like, I'm going to go top lane and push. Helios respawning right now, but TSM did have to delay their Baron attempt for now. Inox also split pushing the right-hand side as well. No TP just yet for Dyrus. TSM decide to kill top lane as opposed to rush Baron here.
Yeah. Well, it'll be a full value kill if they find the right brush.
Oh, he's trying. Flashes. They really might get away here. Q, he's not going to dodge it in time. Here's the rest of the damage. Kill picked up by Amazing. 404. Elise has found you. And Inox now's got to be pretty careful. Can he jump the wall away from Dyrus with his body slam?
He might just want to keep fighting him.
And he's going to try actually instead.
Keep
so
that barrel on the ground for a while.
Mid lane outer turret does go down. That's actually the payment for the top lane champion kill. Honestly, that's good for EG.
Yeah, EG is doing a pretty good job just moving around the map considering they're so disadvantaged in the team fight phase. They're trying to withstand this onslaught of roaming by TSM by just doing a full-on split push, because TSM very much isn't a split pushing team right now. They're using just a roaming kill squad generally and sticking as a team to kind of neutralize Pobelter's Twisted Fate so that no one could get picked off. It worked very well in the early game because they would just turret dive with their whole team, and then where's TF really going to go as long as they don't have lane pressure? And that worked out amazingly early on for TSM. EG's trying to counter that a little bit now, but it's probably too little too late.
It might just be not a ton of late game plays available for Evil Geniuses. Historically, they've had a hard time in that part of the map already. You're seeing Helios still. That Wolf Camp is warded a lot by TSM. They've kept up ward control. 3 of their pink wards around Baron have stayed up as well. Just the one by the mid lane right there is the last one to have died. But these guys will be able to replace those before too long. Just depends on who's got to put them down.
It's kind of this mini game you got to be thinking to yourself when you have pink wards in front of Baron. You could say, if these things have stayed up for 5 minutes, that means EG hasn't even been close enough to stop us from Baron for the last 5 minutes. Maybe we should just do the Baron at this point. So TSM should be making a move towards that Baron pretty soon.
I was honestly surprised they actually went to kill Pobelter.
Yeah. Like, it was still like 20 minutes into the game is one of the things. This game is like very accelerated.
Infinity Edge Jinx is like going to kill that thing anyway, right? Elise, everything else. Like, I feel like you can just do that one. No coverage whatsoever. TF ulti was used to spot them. But TSM playing it a little bit more steady here. Wave clear still easy for these guys, of course. Leap did actually go face the mountain.
A flank actually by EG, knowing that Dyrus isn't there. They would have needed the binding to land. Maybe right here, Turtle's a little bit vulnerable.
Attempt. Wild Turtle half HP. He loses on him. He's gonna get the kill. Maybe the shield comes in to CC as well. Inox finds 1 kill, and look at that Wild Turtle staying alive so far. 1 for 1 in the fight. Make that 2 for 1. More kills for Wild Turtle, and the TSM health bar is so low, but they stay up. Inox and Altec, amazing looking to seek down the AD carry. Dyrus in a 1v2, knocked back, but still looks for Crepo. 300 health left on him. Down goes Kog'Maw, amazing. I believe he's gonna survive that, and just barely does. Dyrus rooted up, but it's not gonna mean anything. 3-1 in that fight.
Wow. That was such a clean start to the fight for EG. And it could have very well been a way to get back in the game. If they win that, they take the Dragon, the goal gets incredibly close. It just didn't go as planned. Wild Turtle had some slippery moves, and honestly, it was all about EG's inability to kill Wild Turtle at the start of this one. That's the big reason that fight didn't go their way. He seemed completely dead to rights.
Oh, yeah. But, you know, Glebe did a great job peeling for him. Face the Mountain Shield came on, did everything else he could. It was just Evelyn for damage.
Yeah, because look, they only have 4 people here, and just based on the open of the fight, Altec getting so much on a Turtle, and a great ultimate by Crepo, it seemed like it was destined to happen, but...
Altec stopped hitting him. He had ulti available still.
Jeez, look at that. And then Pobelter can't get to him either because of the stunning. Turtle ends up, after taking way too much damage at the start of the fight, ends himself up with a double kill.
Yeah. Altec as well dives so hard to look for that one. He ended up being on top of Dyrus.
Yeah.
And he got soloed out actually by Amazing, the TSM jungler. So mixed results there for the AD carry versus jungle matchup. TSM just get farther and farther ahead, winning by 2 kills and a dragon in that fight. So 50,000 to 40,000. TSM right now tied for 3rd actually, 2 games behind 1st place. They've actually started stretching the top versus bottom segments a little bit here. TSM will be back to 1.5 games away. They get this one.
That last fight is actually a pretty promising sign for EG. The fact that they were down so many kills and still had such a close fight. Losing a fight like that obviously makes the next one even more unlikely. But they really did show that the Evelyn plus Morgana combo at the start of the fight is very potent. Now with the Aegis onto Glebe though, that burst of upfront magic damage will be significantly diminished. Don't think EG gets another opportunity like that.
Pobelter might not get another opportunity to walk back to the base. Dyrus still on the chase right here. Gold card back up. No, he's gonna be okay.
You can keep pulling him. He's got a whole deck of those things.
Dyrus is chilling. All right, mid is gonna go down. Keeping pressure on this bottom side of the map. We've seen Dyrus win games by just going for that bottom inhibitor and people not respecting that. Could do it with Renekton. Also, still the full tank build.
Yeah.
His Shyvana's been full tank, his Renekton's full tank, no Tiamat. Altec has the red buff though, he's got friends. Oh, the binding won't hit and Dyrus gets away. Nice moves there. Slice and dice.
Still took him down pretty fast.
Yeah, I mean, it's a thing to keep in mind.
Yeah, you go full tank with the nerf Randwood's Omen and all. Kog'Maw can still clearly shred through quite quickly. That's without a Last Whispering.
Yeah, he's going for one now. Longsword now in his inventory as well. The burst comes out, will hit Crepo there for that one. Glebe gonna tank for the team. No binding will hit a champion. This turret down to half HP here. But Amazing's gotta be careful. Out he goes.
Oh, he's got nothing to jump to actually.
Oh no, just kidding. Not out he goes, but Altec pretty far up for this one. Black Shield is on, and the snipe on to Crepo goes through. Now Glebe forced to run away. Inox will land the slow here, shields himself. Burst comes back through. Gragas gonna buddy flop away from this one. TSM's looking 1 for 0. They get out.
What a strange push there by TSM. They do not get the turret. They get 1 more kill on a turtle. Bjergsen doesn't use his ultimate amongst all of that because they were mainly just trying to disengage. They snuck the kill with a nice sniper from Wild Turtle. So not the greatest siege by TSM, quite honestly.
You're seeing how respectful they have to be of Altec, actually. Yeah. It feels like Inox and Pobelter have just enough wave clear to slow the push down. And if someone wants to face check, Altec does a good job of dissuading them from this. So just maybe there's that glimmer of hope and EG can find a late game victory. So far, TSM haven't pushed in any farther in some time. 30 minutes, still faster than a normal game. Earlier than games are normally end anyway, so you can't really discredit them too much for it being 30 minutes without being over. And they hold on to that 10,000 gold. They certainly haven't made any big, major mistakes. I mean, think back to, say, Complexity CLG. Complexity
TSM is
held a lead
playing
for a long time.
very well throughout this game. One of their pink wards was actually killed. So they had to place it with the normal one. I have to kind of wonder a little bit where TSM goes from here, because they have the full tank. They're giving so much respect to the Kog'Maw as far as not diving in. But at some point, they either need to commit to that mid turret or just commit to the Baron and get ready to peel for a fight. Because doing what they're doing now is just giving that Kog'Maw more time. Here we go.
Crepo does get away for this one. Choppers might not have hit anyway, but the mid turret does go down. TSM find number 6. And out they go. Dragon up in a minute, but they look at Baron.
Yep, EG got caught doing some wave management, top and bottom lane, so they only had 3 in the middle. That's where TSM has gotten most of their advantages, just outnumbering EG, honestly.
I'm also surprised to see that it's Pobelter the one holding up against Dyrus. They're sending Inox on a low mission in enemy territory here.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't have TP, he can't go bottom lane right now without giving up Baron control. But it's not the matchup I think they would have sought.
It is a little interesting. I mean, Pobelter, he's playing a really interesting game with Dyrus down there. He runs past him often to clear waves, and then would just gold card him on there, red card him on the way back. Like, he is so far from home right now. But he doesn't really care because he doesn't think Dyrus can catch him. It looks suicidal, but he's been doing this for a while.
Well,
he gets stunned, he'll pull a gold card.
Got Brandwin's already as well. There's the gold card.
Away. The Mercury Treads make it not as effective.
But oh my gosh, that one is though. Altec goes down right away. A couple ultis burned for that one, but it does mean mid inhibitor turret's under fire. The rest of EG not going to come back in time to defend the turret. The inhibitor also likely to fall. Helios.
No Kog'Maw. This fight, I don't know if they have damage.
He's going to flank anyway, and here they go. Ulti does almost nothing there for Inox, and now Helios going to go down as well. They tried to fight the 4v5. They lose another one. Crepo also dead. EG giving him some more kills. Pobelter in a bad spot as well. Dyrus, a couple hits from the kill. Can't quite find it, but even still, inhibitor goes down.
Yeah, the Syndra stun, which we did miss, but I imagine it was just cleaned through, is what really started this, and that's the break that TSM needed. It's really on either not having a black shield and also the build path Crepo went, more teamfight presence, but no Michaela's Crucible, which meant that after it's a strange looking maneuver right there, it looked like a Syndra stun, I imagine.
He like walked in, I thought.
Yeah, it might just be because the replay was so recent, it was a bit of a spectator thing. But even so, all of that happening, and then the flank afterwards from EG. No damage, right? Twisted Fate's off with Renekton. They got a Roa Gragas, jungler who is far behind, and a support. They can't take on a 3v4 regardless of if ultimates are down or not.
Very greedy re-engagement there, and so TSM pick up Baron and their 5th Dragon, plus the middle inhibitor on the back of all that fight. TSM are so far in control right now. 34 minutes about into this game. And they've just looked clean the whole way through. They found the picks, they've killed off the back lines. Only given up 2 kills all game. And I haven't seen a single move where it's like, ooh, that was a risky push. They haven't, there's no chance for a Baron steal, no chances for Dragon steals. Every invade they go for was warded up or they knew people weren't around. A lot of measured advantage taking.
Good bounce back game. They had that disappointing defeat to Dignitas earlier today. TSM really wanted to go 4-0 this week and try and plant themselves at the top of the standings. But currently, they're in that 3-way tie for 3rd. This win will put them half a game ahead, since they will have played one more game than Cloud9 and LMQ, but it will still put them ahead of those teams temporarily in the standings.
Meanwhile, that 1st-way tie, we'll see that break apart a little bit. CLG plays one more game later today, so we'll see the standings move around just a bit more. Before we're all said and done, right now we are focusing on TSM. 2nd place team, 2 splits running. 1st place team in the very first split. The first time they've been so far down. So they're trying again to run away from Dyrus, who realized he won't win that trade.
Yeah, not much he's doing to him with those gold cards. Uh-oh, another stun.
Backs off.
Trigger.
The wave clear still coming out with his Kog'Maw. Altec doing what he can to keep his team afloat, but unfortunately now has 3 deaths for himself. All the magic resist that Crepo's trying to give the team can't quite keep them alive because there's just so much damage coming out from Bjergsen's Syndra. They try again in the next wave. Barak is coming out. Wild Turtle putting some damage down, but they're being very reserved with this pushing.
Yeah, I mean, with the amount of tankiness that Dyrus has, you'd think they would more willingly go in, but they are just waiting for Bjergsen to land a stun, or Elise for that matter, and they're going in from there. Amazing is 607. His Elise is fantastic.
One more time. Voidooz comes down, the attack's meant as well, but no one is actually pressuring Wild Turtle, who gets a number of attacks down. Pobelter losing some of his health bar as well. Baron, I guess he gives him 2 more waves of this kind of push, and at this rate of progress, they're gonna break the inhibitor before Baron comes down.
Yeah, you can actually see Helios making the long run around. They're gonna try and flank by the time the next push comes in. That will most likely be the final fight. It's good of EG to try and preempt this, but it's gonna be tough.
Here we go, they know they don't have Helios, they back up plenty far. Amazing, taking the root up in the air, he goes. Inok getting locked down, but so far it's just Crepo dying. There's the stun coming across, 2 kills picked up. Helios into the fight late, Altec now forced away as well. Heavily outnumbered, EG don't have much of a fight left in them. Helios flashing away. Amazing, the shield's gonna end. Cocoon won't hit either, but they're inside the base. Who really cares? Mid inhibitor gonna be hit one more time by Dyrus. Top inhibitor also down. 2 versus 5, TSM in the base.
Yeah, TSM looking absolutely in control this game. Yes, it was 37 minutes, but it was because EG had the Kog'Maw that was keeping so much respect as far as lanes were being pushed down. Clean, decisive win by TSM. Great way of bouncing back from it.
Nicely done by these guys. Second turret goes down. Onto the Nexus they go. 37 minutes, about 20 seconds in. 20-2 in kills, and TSM have a very nicely controlled game. A lot of it starting from Bjergsen there. Picking up the lane advantage, making his way around the map. TSM took a lot of very good advantages.
Yeah, there's not too much more to say about that for TSM because they look good. That's about all there was to it. Some fantastic mid-day adjustments, quite honestly. The Dignitas game, they gave up early dragons and did not show initiative with their map movements, almost never outnumbering their opponents. This game, it was just a montage of more TSM people on top of dead EG members at that point because they just got kill after kill.
And I also got to worry for EG a little bit now because they've had multiple games in a row where they come out swinging. Their early game looks fantastic. Helios makes all the right plays. Their bot lane does well, everyone does well. And then, okay, you know, late game's been hard for them. This time around, it seemed like they were stagnant early game. They couldn't find their way in. They had the one good move mid lane by Helios. He burned a flash from Bjergsen. That wasn't a typical lane.
Thanks, Freak. We're joined by TSM's Amazing, fresh off a win against EG. Now, I want to ask you something straight off the bat, which is that you got Elise now. That's 7 wins now on Elise with no losses. And this is not to knock your Lee Sin play, but you're 3-2 on Lee Sin. Why do you think it is that teams are letting you have Elise and banning the Lee Sin instead?
It seems to me that overall Lee Sin is regarded as a stronger jungler. Like overall he has better early game, he has more playmaker ability. So, and people are usually scared of like good Lee Sin, so they will more usually ban it than the Elise. Because Elise is just such a standard pick that it always works. Like it's always like somewhat good, but not like dominant good. So people just let it open, and we've seen that in the past. Like even Dexter, like is another jungler that prioritizes it, and like we all just like get Elise basically 24/7 whenever we want to get it.
Okay, and going back to champion select here, where you saw the Twisted Fate as well as the Evelynn locked in. Now this is a composition as a jungler that can have about 4 people show up in a lane very quickly. How does that change your style, and what were you thinking coming into the game?
It really depends. Like, if you shut down TF early, like he won't be able to roam properly. If he can't leave his lane, if his turret gets pushed down, or overall he can just be one-shot by the Syndra, he's not going to be able to roam. And if you control Evelynn early, the same thing occurs. So basically my mindset was shut him down early, win the game off of that, especially due to our comp, strength. And Renekton could, for example, never be ganked, and our bot lane played quite safe in comparison to other bot lanes, so it was pretty good.
All right, well, working off that idea of safety, right, and not knowing where everyone is or where everyone can be at every moment, that resulted in no kills for about the first 10, 11 minutes of the game. So we're actually going to pull up a replay. 11:30 into the game, it's where you guys are at the mid turret and you end up catching Crepo out. So kind of walk me through the decision that brought you to this point?
So basically, we're somewhat desperate to just make something happen because we have the mid pressure. We just want to force a play, and Crapper walks in as he saw us rotating, and he gets caught out. So we kill him. Helios basically gets the same fate, and we basically dive people as they are basically outmaneuvered on the map, and that's how it is. Like, we're fast on the rotation. We just want to make a play happen, and it happened due to them mispositioning and us out-rotating them.
All right, great. And you actually managed to pick the turret up off of that as well.
Yep.
So that's a large amount of gold that's going into your pockets at that time. What I want to know is, immediately, what are the calls being made for snowballing that lead?
So basically, first of all, vision control is like the most important thing that is like existent in the game. So if you want to snowball, you have to control their buffs, you have to control drakes, like etc. pp. So what our call was like reset, get the items that you need, get the wards that you need, ward the map up, light it up, and basically make plays of the vision that we have and of the items that we have.
And speaking of the items that you had, your build. Talk to me about your build, Amazing.
Okay.
Obi boots, Sightstone.
So basically, I was really done for ahead of Eve, so I just thought like, well, I should probably like be mobile on the map. I don't really want to buy any more wards, so I just invested in the side zone. And overall, it seems to me that side zone at least is like, in my opinion, a really good build, whereas others differ from that. But I think like overall, if you just like get that early side stone or after the ancient golem item, you can basically make plays off of the cocoons that you can land due to the vision that you have, and due to the mob builds that I had, I could get ganks off everywhere and basically auto-rotate the enemy jungler.
Fantastic. I mean, there were a bunch of amazing team fights. That was totally unintentional.
Really?
It really was. Okay, there was a bunch of team fights that went in your guys' favor following that, which just increased the lead. And what I want to know is, what were the steps to close out the game? Because it seemed very methodical.
It was not as methodical as it seemed. Like, we were kind of lost because like, the thing is that they still were kind of good in team fights. Surprisingly, Kotma did a ton of damage. So we couldn't really push up mid, even though we had Braum like, who would cover waves or something like that. But like, overall, we just wanted to, in the end, like, basically decide to get Nash pressure by warding it up, pink warding it, getting wards in their jungle, like try to catch them out. That did not really work out that well. So in the end, we just like got some lucky plays on. We got the mid turret at some point. And that's how it is. Like, it was not that methodical as we wanted it to be, but it still worked out to some extent.
And you guys are looking better and better every week on TSM. And I'm going to attribute some of this to Loco Doco. We had him here earlier on the desk. He described his coaching style as very personal. And what has Loco Doco done for you, Amazing?
The difference now between me before Loco Doco arrived and me now is that I'm more open-minded, try to listen to more advice and not be as stubborn as I used to be. So that's basically something that he helped me with. And I feel like I'm actually having a more open mind, not just like overall, but also in-game, where I'm trying to force plays at certain times where in the beginning of the split, I was really just farming a lot, just try to carry off of that, which is not the right mentality in this meta, nor is it the right mentality for TSM.
Yeah, and you guys had a very supportive role for your team there. And now you guys have one more game coming up. It's going to be against Complexity. How are you preparing for that?
We can watch. We'll probably rewatch the games. I think they already played 2 or 3. I'm not quite sure. So we'll just go through those, watch our own replays, just like go through those and really try to figure out what we could have done better, what we could have exceeded more. And basically, the Dignitas game is a big thing for us because we felt like we could have done many things differently. That's like a big game for us that we lost. And if we go through that and prepare for tomorrow, we'll come in strong.
All right, one last question. Bit of a macro question. We're taking a step back. You guys are 8-0 against the bottom 3 teams in the LCS, which means that you only have 2 wins against the teams in the rest of the standings. Now, it's clear that you can beat these lower teams. The question is, what do you need to do in order to step up your game and start taking wins off of the top tier teams?
We just have to be more confident in our play overall. I feel like, especially coming into the Dignitas game, we're kind of confused to some extent in some of the situations that we're forced into. It was kind of surprising to us what they did to us, whereas we can calculate the lower teams way better, in my opinion. So what we have to do, like, prepare way better and through the preparation that we have, and we'll try to exceed that, we can basically like, expect more what is coming out of the top teams and basically counter that properly, instead of just like coming into the game maybe not as confident as we should be and not be prepared in the right manner.
All right, well, it was a good win for you guys to close out the day. Thank you for joining us here on the desk. Now, we've got to take a quick break, but when we come back, we'll jump into our 5th game of the day, Cloud9 versus Cursed. The NA LCS continues in 3.5.